Hello, welcome back to the channel. So I decided that because my deck profile of my Dozer Control Earth Machine deck did so well, I'm going to do a quick uh, combo tutorial. I'm going to be going through two combos in this video, and I'm going to show the different variations of where you can go with each combo. So it's the reason that this deck is so consistent is because it's all one card combos, and if you start with Metal Cruncher, Heavy Forward, Infinitrack Harvester, or Machina Redeployment, you have full combo just with these cards alone. Obviously, if you get interrupted, it's different, but then you got four other cards in your hand. The Machina Redeployment, I'm going to be using that as the second example, as you go a slightly different route if you open this, and also if these you can top deck and you have full combo, but let's say you've got no cards in hand and you're literally relying on the top deck, you draw this, it's just a dead card because it requires a discard. But yeah, so for this example, we will go over, we'll do Heavy Forward. So you've opened Heavy Forward and you've got, let's get four random cards. One, two, three, four. Four random cards. They could be hand traps, they could be extenders. But yeah, so I'll keep these off to the side so we can see that's the hand. Actually, where can I'll put them down here. So you activate your Heavy Forward, and in this case, you would search your Harvester. You'd normal summon your Harvester, use its effect, and in like pretty much every case, because it's called Dozer Control, you'll be looking for your Brutal Dozer. So now what you want to do is you want to tribute off to activate your Brutal Dozer and summon it, and then activate its other effect. And it depends on what your hand is, obviously, but say you are just in top decking mode, you want to get Trencher because it lets you. I'll explain why in a minute, but this is the bread and butter combo that you. If you don't know this deck, don't know this combo, you shouldn't really be like if you say that you play this deck, that you should know this combo. This is kind of like any basic. It's like the Alistair combo. You normal summon Alistair, you get the invocation, and you end up with Mechaba. But yeah, so now you want to overlay these two into a River Stormer. And you activate River Storm's effect. Doesn't really matter what you detach, but just in case they for some reason like no material or whatever, not that that card gets played, you want to detach the Harvester for the follow play as no Harvester, the Trencher as it's a monster reborn, as I said in the deck profile. So yeah, so you've activated its effect, and off that you want to add either a Bullet Train. A Bullet Train if you've got nothing. If you already have the Bullet Train, you want to get the Derrick Crane instead as an extender. But we'll just grab the Bullet Train and we will summon it. You then want to link into a Goliath. So the reason we're doing this is literally just to dump as many like extra deck materials into the graveyard as possible. But yeah, so just before I link that, so the reason that we detach the the reason that it doesn't matter really what you detach is because at this point, if they Nibiru you, you just activate the Trencher, summon back anything, link it into the link one, bring Stormer back, and then you can keep playing from there. But yeah, so you've summoned the Goliath, and then you just want to immediately link them off into a Ballista. So you want to use Ballista's effect, and this is why we play the Blister in the deck, as it will allow us to get our only brick, but it's not really a brick because you can still combo around drawing it. So that's been added to your hand. So you've now got, you now still have 5 cards in your hand. And then you want to activate its effect. And you want to add the other Infinitrack that we haven't used yet, Tunneler. So you don't go through all of your Infinitrack engine basically, like one copy of each card. So now you want to activate Tunneler, get in with that. And now there's two options that I've seen a lot of people do here. I've seen a lot of people go into Goliath, then summon back Tunneler. Personally, I don't like that. I think that's a bit too risky. for multiple reasons. So first reason is uh, it means if you're gonna get Nibiru, you're gonna get a weaker token because they can just wait till you've got 2 copies of the Infinite Track Goliath out. But also, if you banish Trencher, try and summon this back, they can like DD Crow it, and if they DD Crow it, you've lost. So you've wasted your monster reborn. You don't get an extra monster on field. You don't get to shuffle 5 back. You don't get the draw 2. So personally, what I like to do here is I like to banish the Trencher now and summon the Dozer, because I feel like this is a much safer route. It also means if they're going to Nibiru you, you're going to get a massive token. Yeah, it's still not going to be able to. I mean, you can do that. You could also bring back the Harvester if you feel like they're going to put the Nibiru token in defense. But either way, I feel like if they'll ask you what the stats are of it, and if you bring back this, they'll put it in defense because the defense is less than 3,000. And if you bring out the Harvester, they'll put it in attack because its attack's less than 3,000. So I feel like this is just safer to protect your life points. Then from here, you want to link into a Goliath, and then link into the 3rd Goliath, and then we link into Wrangle Knuckles. So as you can see, we've just dumped a whole lot of material in here. So at this point, if you had the Derek Rain, I'd still save it for now. However, so you at the moment, let's say you have just this. So at the moment, you've currently got 5 cards in hand still, and you've gone through all your combo. Put them there. So then you want to banish the Tunneler, and this is just for turn 1. You want to get these, basically all your link monsters, and normally whatever starter you summoned, so Harvester, or if it was Metal Cruncher, you'll get Metal Cruncher, and you want to just, actually, I'll keep the Derek Rain off so I can show you. You want to just put them back into the extra deck, give the deck, and then just, once you've resolved this, this is where you're kind of safe at this point, because you've got so much card advantage over your opponent. And you have to remember that you've done all of this off a single card, which is the main reason I play this deck, because you're never losing card advantage. So we'll draw 2, and in this case, well, we drew a Derek Rain, and we drew a Redeployment, which is really good. But we're just going to say these are 2 blanks, and you already had the Derek Rain in hand here. So what you do is you would discard any monster, and bring back the Bullet Train. Obviously, if you didn't have the Derek Rain, the combo would just end at you drawing 2, and then you'd probably have traps to set. But let's say you also have the Derek Rain, you'd bring this guy back, then you would summon the Derek Rain, and overlay them both into a Super Dora. And yeah, at this point, I think you wouldn't have that one, but you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in hand. You'd then go to your end. Let's say worst case example, you can't set any of these cards in your hand. So you would go end phase. So you always got your end phase. Attempt to go to the end phase so that you can, if they try to Nibiru you, you can just detach from this to make it unaffected. But yeah, then in the end phase, you'll add your Brutal Dozer back to your hand, and you've got 6 cards in hand, a massive monster on the field. This can tag out, you send Box to summon Bullet Train, and then if Bullet Train gets destroyed during the end phase, you get Box back. So yeah. So I'll quickly clean this up. Okay, so this combo is, like I said, specifically for Machina Redeployment. So this is probably the best if you start with it. So we'll just have the random card. Actually, we'll not do that. Let's get a card that's not part of the combo. Well, this is part of the combo, but you know, you do search it. So, but yeah, so you'll activate Machina Redeployment here. You'll discard the card. So we'll just put it there. And then what you want to add is Metal Cruncher and Forest. Yeah. So these 2 cards, they get you, like, it's the basic combo. It's slightly different, but it arguably ends on a better board if you know your opponent has kind of needs multiple cards. You do this combo if you open this and you know your opponent needs quite a few specific cards to combo. So like Invoked, if you hit the Alistair out the hand and they don't have anything else, or if you hit the meltdown and they don't have an Alistair. So yeah, so you'll normal summon Metal Cruncher, and then realistically you won't have 3 Harvester in your hand because your odds you've got like, well, you could do, but the odds of you opening these 2 specific starters isn't like ridiculously high. But yeah, you'll have it. Then you'll discard them both because of Konami said so rulings to summon out the fortress, and then you want to link these 2 into the Ballista, and then you want to get Ballista, and you want to add obviously the box because it's our only target in this deck. And then unlike the last combo, we're not grabbing Tunneler. We're gonna grab Trencher instead, and I'll show you why now. So now you've got these in hand. You want to summon out the Fortress again by sending both the box and the Trencher, and then you want to activate Trencher's effect, and you want to bring back. Where's it gone? You want to bring back the Harvester. So then on summon, you'll activate the Harvester effect, and you will add the Brutal Dozer, but we're not going to summon it quite yet. We're going to use Harvester's other effect, the level modulation, targeting the Fortress, and because it's a level 7 and a level 2, they both become 9. Then you can overlay, and then obviously before the ban list, we would have made VFD, but no one likes that card, and everyone's glad it's gone, even the people who play it. Unless you're a virtual world player, then unlucky. So then normally, it depends really. If you're going second, you'd probably make Earth Slicer, get 2 pops. I cut the other rank 9. You could play the Sacred Tree Beast, but I don't think it's that good because it's a very telegraphed and obvious negate because it's only a monster negate 90% of the time. But also, you can't use it on your own turn, and you want the Fortress to be in the grave. So normally I will do Enter Blathnia, which personally I've really been liking this card a lot lately. Online testing, this card's been overperforming almost as much as the Fortress itself. But yeah, so you'll detach the Fortress, and again you'll hand loop them. Banish a card, but the main reason this could do literally nothing. But as long as it could just say detached to do nothing, and we'd probably still play it because we have the big body and the Fortress. It just happens to be an amazing card that's quite easy to make in this deck. Then we want to summon the Brutal Dozer by attributing Ballista, and then use its effect. So the reason that we go into Enter Blathnia early is because obviously Brutal Dozer locks us into machines, and then because we've already used the Trencher. Where's it gone? We'll grab the Tunneler, and we'll summon that, and then it ends up being slightly different to the combo before, but not too much. You end up having to shuffle back 1 extra main deck monster, but that's it. So a River Stormer, detach Tunneler, to grab. Where's the Bullet Train? Right at the top. Of course it is. But then a lot of like inexperienced players, like I know I personally, when I first learned this combo, I was like, wait, what? When someone told me about this, and I was like, I'm stuck here because you can't summon this. So I was going straight into Anger Knuckle and ending on basically nothing. What you want to do, send it to the grave, summon back the Fortress. It still meets conditions no matter how it's sent to the grave. So it could be field, deck, or in this case hand. And now look, you've got 2 monsters on. So what you want to do is you want to link into a Goliath. Then you want to activate the River Stormer's effect, attributing as a tribute. Yeah, it tributes the Goliath to summon itself back out. And then you just want to link it off again into the second Goliath, and then link both of these cards into an Anger Knuckle. So I guess this is kind of like if something happens that stops your Tunneler, you've still got a Goliath in here. Plus you've got Anger Knuckle and stuff like that. So then what you would do is, like in this previous combo, you'd activate the Tunneler effect. So you still want to get rid of shuffle those links back, but now you've got quite a. It depends what you want. So here, personally, because there's two Brutal Dozers in the graveyard, I'd shuffle back a Brutal Dozer and a Metal Cruncher. If they're all different and there's no other card, this is probably the go-to to shuffle back. However, in this case, we wouldn't. So yeah, shuffle these back. And then again, the same thing applies, so we'll draw two. If drew the Derrick the amount of times that I've drew Derrick doing this combo is actually ridiculous. It's won me games where I wasn't able to OTK them, and then I draw two, and you have to remember that you'll also have two extra cards in hand, which could be used to bring back the Citadel again. They could be used to discard. So personally, because these two aren't doing anything in my hand, what I would do here is bring back out the Fortress by sending the Citadel. And if we're going second, pretty easy to OTK. He's got Derrick, sorry. You probably activate Anger Knuckle, pitch the Metal Cruncher, bring back out the Bullet Train, then summon, and then instead of going into Super Dora, you would go into, you'd go into the Gustav Max, activate burn for 2000, then you would trigger the Derrick to pop a card, and then obviously Gustav Max, detach the Bullet Train, attack for 6k. If they somehow survive, well, you know, you've got that guy, this guy here, just slap a Zeus on top of him, or if you want to keep this 6000 attack monster, slap a Zeus on there instead. But yeah, and then you've still got this card, and you would still have two other cards in hand. So in this case, it'd be really good. So I'll just quickly show you. Like, we'll go through. There's a slight difference for going second, so I'll quickly show you that, and I will be right back now. Okay, and we're back. So for this combo, you will have to take it with a pinch of salt. Obviously, this isn't going to work. You're going second, so you'll have 6 cards in hand, and obviously you'll have hand traps. So, in worst case scenario, let's say best case scenario, they end on a board that's fairly weak. This is basically what this is, or this is, it's solo practice. So this is how you OTK with one card. Well, actually no, you'd need more than one card. Actually, you would need a train to go with it. However, we play 3 trains, and yeah, so. There we go, we've got the Derrick Rain. I know I said I was only going to do 2 combos, but I feel like this one's quite helpful as well. So, if you know they've got a negate, you'd probably you'd normal summon this, activate, and then chain this. But for the sake, we'll say that we know they have no interruptions because you've Nibiru'd them, you've Ashed them, you've used Lancia. They've ended on just over Raptor Pass. So that, and yeah. So you normal that, you'll add from deck the Brutal Dozer, wherever it's hiding. You'll tribute summon the Brutal Dozer, and then, again, just for safety, we'll do Trencher, because obviously if this OTK does fail, then you can just combo off using the Trencher and then try and end on your turn 1 board. So you'll overlay these two. Doesn't really matter like the position of them on the board, because they're going well. These won't be going, but yeah. Detach Trencher, and add the other train that you're missing. So if you have Bullet Train, you'll add a Derrick Rain. But in this case, which is most likely because we played 2 Derrick Rain, so now you get these 2, and then it's fairly simple. It's just summon, overlay. And then what I like to do for a little bit of safety, because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's an OTK deck, but it just loses to Mirror Force. It's like, yeah, not quite. So you'll link someone into a Goliath. You'll then tribute the Goliath to summon the River Stormer, and then you'll actually use the Goliath's effect, attaching it to Gustav Max. So now it can't be destroyed by card effects. And I like to also use this before I use its effect, so that if they have Solemn Strike, at least they're not destroying the card. So you'll detach the Derek Crane, and you'll burn for 2,000. Then you'll get a popper card. Sometimes you don't want a popper card if you know like what their set card is. It might be you might have saw them Trap Trick, Awakening the Dragon, and stuff like that, or potentially they might float in this, like if you're playing against Unchained, which I know is getting quite good, like quite high in popularity at the moment, and I used to play it. I know they love to be destroyed, so sometimes you just wouldn't. And then you summon Liebe. And then also, because it has that extra material, it can now... So you'll detach and you'll do this. And it can now attack 3 times instead of the normal 2. Not that normally matters, because if you've destroyed... Like, let's say you're against dinosaurs, you Lancia there, or when they summon Overraptor and they just pass. So you'll now you'll destroy that with the Derek Crane, and now they've got an empty board, and you'll just swing at them for 6k. So yeah, there is some other combos as well which are quite complicated. Like there's the one with Urgent Schedule. However, I feel like my version of the deck, since we only play the one as a kind of backup, and honestly, I've resolved its second effect more than its first effect, which is if it's sent to the graveyard while set, it searches for a train, which is really good for follow up because you can send it. If this is in the grave, you can get it using that. You could destroy it using Earth Slicer, because I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, because that targets both fields. You could, where's that? Ancient Gear Ballista can send it to make an opponent's monster be 0, which again is really good. But it's kind of like, if it kind of feels like, I use it more like, oh, you've drew this. It's kind of like a second call by the grave, and by that I mean, well, it's kind of a lot of people are playing Gamma now because of Dragon Link, and other decks that like lose to Gamma. So Gamma's a pretty decent hand trap at the moment. So essentially, you'll normal summon your Harvester. They'll like Gamma your Harvester. So then you summon this, and then you get 2 monsters out of the deck, which normally you'd just want to get the. You probably want to get a train and maybe the level 4, or something like that, or maybe even a trencher and the level 4. But yeah. Thanks for watching. If you've liked the video, please feel free to subscribe. I have used a slightly different camera this time, and let me know what you think about it. I'm hoping the quality is going to be higher. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if there's any combos you know, because I still feel like I'm a beginner at this deck, and I'd love to know any new combos, any like very niche combos, even if it's like a 3-4 card combo, like you open the perfect hand, you can do this type combo. I don't mind them. But yeah, let me know in the comments. And yeah, bye.